Hello everyone, this video is for Project Lead the Way IED Activity 1.2.5. We have example object number 1 here. We just modeled it in a different video, and now it is time to create a dimensioned drawing in Fusion. Again, for Activity 1.2.5, example number 1. We've got our model here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my data panel, hitting this waffle. I can see example 1, that's what we've just created. We're good to go, it's saved. Let's go ahead and now create a drawing, shall we? Let's go ahead and right click on our browser where it says example 1, the title of our file. We're going to move down to create drawing. This should be review for everyone at this point. It's going to open up a little command box here, and we are going to change our template for our title block. We're going to move from scratch. We're going to choose the title block that you've saved in your cloud. The one that plays nice with it seems like the most computers is here, ZCHS PLTW. That's what I'm going to use. Go ahead and hit OK. I'm just going to move this model and tie it to a drawing file that is not yet saved. So once I place my base here, we're going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to go ahead and place the base. And it does look pretty small. It's only at a 1 to 2 already. So let's go to 1 to 1 scale just to make this a little more visible. Heck, I could even think maybe we could go to 2 to 1. Let's see what that looks like to see if we could squeeze something that large. Looks a little too big. So let's go 1, 2, 1. I think it's going to be our best shot here. I'm going to go ahead and place our base view. We've got that here. I'm going to go ahead and save our drawing just so we don't lose track of where we're at. There's going to be example 1. We had example 1 as a model. It's going to be example 1 drawing. So we are good to go. I'm going to save it in the same folder that I have my model in. Go ahead and click save. You'll see it pop up here in my data panel, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize that data panel now. All right, so we've got our base view, and we're referring to this reference drawing we've got here in Canvas. I've got it up on the page now. It looks like we just have two views, the top and the front, as well as the isometric. So let's go ahead and take care of that by projecting a couple views. Over here on the left-hand side, near base view, we've got projected view, and I'm going to go ahead and project our base to make a top and an ISO. Go ahead and hit check mark. I'm going to double click on our isometric and make sure that is shaded. I like that. Nice little reference there. Let's zoom in a bit, and I can see that that we have our hidden lines, which is excellent. This is going to work well for us. I like everything that I see here. So we just need to now add some dimensions to our drawing. Boy, I wish I could get this just slightly bigger as we throw dimensions on here. For this object, we can think about it in terms of going rationally working through our dimensions. We've got a shaft here that we'll have to do size and location, the barrel that we'll have to do a size and location. This fillet will just need to have to do just call out the radius, and then the chamfer also is going to require kind of a special notation that we see down here. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to work up here on the top view first and take care of the diameter of our barrel and both the size and the location of our shaft there. So we've got, looks like 5 dimensions in total. Well, let's go ahead and add those now. We're going to add dimension. We're going to specify this. Now notice that our dimensions are defaulting to inches, so we will need to change that. In order to change the way that our dimensions are being portrayed, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to get out of my dimension command, and I'm going to double click on the first dimension that we've placed, and this will open up this little dimension tab. We've got some symbols and some controls we can put with that. There's some representation and precision that we can deal with in terms of decimal points. I'm going to change the units underneath primary units here. You'll see this as inch, and we're going to change that to millimeters, a diameter of 40 millimeters. That is perfect. Let's go ahead and hit close, and let's see if that continues on as we work on our shaft here. Going back to the dimension command, we are going to go ahead and dimension the full width. Looks like we're going to have to change this throughout. Let's see if we can do that under document settings. Hello everybody, this video is for Project Lead the Way Activity 1.2.5 for IED. We are going to create a drawing off of example object number 1. Again, PLTW IED Activity 1.2.5. This is going to be a drawing on example object number 1. We've modeled it on a previous video. I encourage you to take a look at that to create the model that you see laying out before you. We are going to take this model, put it into a drawing, and add some dimensions to get ready for a submission in our class. In order to do that, we are going to need to create a drawing off of this model, which is in millimeters. This is a unique one that we modeled in millimeters. Now, a huge caveat up front. When we go to create our drawing, the standard presets for the title block that we've shared has been in inches. Under best practices, we would create an additional template title block that is set to millimeters so we could use one or the other. But predominantly in this class, we're going to be working in inches. So we're going to make an exception here and just use our title block. The dimensions will be in inches that we put on our drawing, even though our referenced work has been in millimeters. So hang tight as we do this. I've got our model up on the page. We're going to right click over here in our browser and we're going to create a new drawing. In that, we are going to choose our template here. Instead of from scratch, we're going to choose the title block that you've already saved to your file system, your cloud here in the data panel as ZCHSPLTW. For me, this seems to play nice with most computers. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Notice the preset there was inches. As this creates the drawing, we're going to be putting something here in inches. Defaults to letting me place a base view. Now this is pretty small, so I'm going to go ahead and change the scale. It's at 1 to 2 as it came in. I'm going to go ahead and make it 1 to 1 to make this a little larger. I'm going to left click to place my base view and go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and project a couple views now. I'm going to project this base view up here to create a top view and an isometric kind of hanging out over here on the right side of the page, again for reference. We're going to double click that isometric projection and we're going to shade that up. Standard practice in this class, and now we've got a good drawing to work on dimensioning. We've got some features here. We've got a barrel base, we've got this post, we've got a fillet, and we've got chamfer that we're going to all detail here with our dimensioning protocol, looking at size and location for each of these. Let's go ahead and tackle first this shaft. We've got to locate this within our circle. So because our barrel, our base here is circular, we're going to go ahead and add some geometry. I'm going to add a center mark, and I'm going to do that for there. I got to put a center mark in the middle of that. And we don't have any hidden lines where we need to show a center line. We could do one that runs between this edge and this edge there, kind of takes us through the middle. I kind of like that. We're going to go ahead and leave that as a center line as well to, again, fully dimension out this object. Let's work on our shaft. We're going to add some dimensions. I'm going to move over to dimension command. Again, this is going to be in inches because our preset for our document was in inches. And so we are going to move in here and we're going to put some size dimensions. Firstly, let's call this our depth as well as our width for the shaft. And I'm using some preset distance here to make that look nice. I also need to locate it. So I'm going to go ahead here and do a dimension from the center to that edge, and this is going to be a horizontal dimension of 2. Now that is pretty close to my object, so what I may actually kind of do is borrow a little bit of space. I'm going to hit escape to get out of my dimension command. I'm going to grab this grip here and move that out one, and then grab this grip and move this out a preset distance as well, just to kind of clean that up. Since we're doing it, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out as well. Let's go back to our dimension command and locate now vertically as we're looking at it on the page. Let's go ahead and put a dimension in there as well. Okay, so we've got this shaft sized, and we can go ahead and put our diameter for our barrel. And the shaft location we've also done with this 0.2 and 0.2 is right off the center of our drawing. So size and location for feature number 1, our shaft, check. Let's go ahead and add a dimension for our barrel. It's going to be this outer diameter here, place that kind of just roughly in line with those dimensions. I think that looks pretty good. So we've got the diameter for our shape. We're going to need to include a height, which we're going to do down here on our base. So let's go ahead and move to our front view, and we're going to put a completely horizontal dimension there. Let's see if we don't have anything more going on. So we've got our overall size of the barrel, we've got the diameter and the height, and that's really all we need to show this sizing. Now we've got our fillet and our chamfer still to do. So let's go ahead and with our dimension command, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so where it's going to help us. Notice that like I can grab some object lines here, but I really just want to grab this circle. So zooming in will allow me to click and place a radius dimension. Since it's not a complete circle, it's just an arc. It's going to default to radius, and that's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and place that out here to our side. And then we need to also take care of this chamfer down here. Now I'm first going to use my drop down under dimensions. I'm going to purposely choose here an angular dimension to make sure that I can capture this angle. And I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, select some edges. I'm going to select this edge as well as this edge. And I can start drawing an angle based on the orientation. I'm going to pull this out to where we're putting a 30-degree angle. Place that right there. Zoom out to make sure that's looking good. And I need to remember when we did this chamfer, it was both a distance and an angle is how we spec that. So we're going to go ahead and dimension it the same way. I'm going to use a linear dimension, and I'm going to left click there, here, drop this down completely vertically to place that. So I have our chamfer that wraps all the way around our barrel. I've got our fillet, which is going to hit every single side. I've got the total extrusion or height of our barrel, as well as the size, the diameter right there. And I've located and sized the top shaft. Just to double check here, I'm going to pull up our curriculum to see kind of what we were working with there in Canvas. And as you can see, I think we've got it all covered. The one thing I'm missing, and shame on Mr. Marshall for that, I'm missing the height here of our shaft. Whoopsie. I'm glad I checked that. We all make mistakes, and I apologize. We're going to add one last dimension. We're just going to go from here down to this point here. We're going to make this a linear dimension. Place that. Now, I do not like where this is located, so I'm going to hit escape so I can grab this by its grips. And I'm going to pull this in. Looks like I can squeeze it here in between the lines, or I can pop it up vertically there. I think I like that. And just because I care, I'm going to make sure that this snaps to the right location. See if I can get this to perfect. There we go. Now we're looking good. Just relocated that dimension to be perfectly in line with the previous one since I was relocating where that goes. We've got everything we need. How it's in inches, and I realize it looks a little different than the sizes that were given to you in millimeters, how we modeled it, but they are the same. If you were to do all these conversions, it would work out just fine. Just checking eye spacing, everything looks good. Maybe I could pull a little bit of space between these drawings here just because I've got the room. Isometric looks good sitting up here top right, and this would conclude our drawing. This is a screenshot that I'll need in our submission for PLTW IED Activity 1.2.5 Example 1. This is a drawing that I need in our submission template, so go ahead and take a use a snipping tool to take a picture of that, or take a picture with your phone. Make sure you attach it to our template. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day.